But again, this is what's important. But again, this is what's important.
What up? What up? What up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. And welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host with the most, Mr. A.D. Walker, Kapusha, the Grower, the Motivator. So I appreciate you guys rocking and being with us. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Again, welcome my podcast people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part. Happy Wednesday. Happy post-election day. Prayerfully, whatever you voted for got passed. Whoever you voted for got in. Uh, they're still trying to figure it out in Atlanta. I think there's going to be a runoff. I don't vote in that area, so I don't have a dog in that race. Just watching from afar. Just watching from afar. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Oh, did I not do that again? Man, let's take a pause for the cause. And do this real fast. Come on, computer. There we go. You know, I gotta get to be. It's not letting me log on. Okay. Let me see. It should be right here. All right. So hold on one tight. Un momento, por favor. Let's do this. All right, let's do this. We're right here. Let's see. I feel like I'm having some issues this morning. All right, let's go here. And not that. All right. Let's do this. So I appreciate you guys rocking and hanging. If you're in the building, say something. I feel like I'm having some technical difficulties this morning. So hold on for a brother. My podcast people don't have to worry because I'm going to slice, dice, dig this out. We're just gonna start after the intro. All right, just another day. All right, let's see. All right. Oh, there you go. All right. My brother is in the building. Blessings, Lisa. Good morning. Hey, Mama McCory. Great morning to you. All right, let's do this. Just bear with me, guys. Slipping on my job, my JOBB. Let's do this. Come on, computer. I know I'm asking you to do a whole lot one time. All right, let's go. So like I said, today we're going to have a great conversation. This was sparked off by Ephraim talking about apartments, and my wife reminded me of something that goes on in New York all the time, and that is the co-op housing apartments and things of that nature. And they're nice. They're not like the hood. It's not like the projects. It's real stuff. So we're going to be digging into that. And can that work? Can that be a norm? And how it works? Because that was one thing I had to look up. How does this thing work? How do co-ops work? You know, is there a profit involved, or how can there be a profit? We're going to discuss all that. We're going to solve the problem before the end of the show. That's what we do here. Oh, let's do this. Hold on. All right, guys. Thank you for your patience. And spliggity splow. That gonna work? Nope. Let's do this. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam. Bam. All right, there we go. Bam. And one more button. And bam. All right, guys. Thank you for your patience. Let's go. Hot dog. Bam, 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 bam. All right. So make sure you share. I just sent it out the text to my peoples. I don't know how I forget that, how I let that slip my mind, but it was a crazy morning. So I appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us. So make sure you share, make sure you tag, let everybody know that the Brothers of Legacy are in the building. I have my man Mark hanging in the wings. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Let me drop this intro, and then we are going to get busy. Remember? No, I'm too old for that. All right, let's go. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. All right. Oh, my bad. Damn. There we go. What up, Mark? Good morning, sir.
What's good, my dude? What's good? Top of
All
the
is
morning
well.
to you.
Top of the morning to you. All is well. Thank you for being on this morning. I think Pastor should be rolling through in a minute. So let me ask you. So today we are talking about buying back the block, part one. This is kind of spawned off of Ephraim, where he spoke about apartments and how could we kind of give equity back to the people that live in the apartments. Because I talked about going in, like I drive Lyft, and there's certain areas that are like rough, like the parking lots are just pothole central. There's probably more potholes than there are good parts to drive on. Like you dodge and you
Yeah. Oh, I already know.
and I just wonder, what's up, Miss Kathy? Yes, it is. It's Wednesday. I wonder, like, how. I mean, when you're in a situation and you don't have the type of finances to leave, you're kind of stuck.
Right,
And then I
right.
think about the responsibility of the building owner, but if the apartment people can't really fight them, they probably don't care. Like, long as they're keeping it basic, no mold and no rats and stuff like taking over, it's like you're good. You're able to live.
Right.
But how do you, like we discussed, how can you put it back into the hands of the people without literally taking the apartment ownership from the owners that live wherever? Because let's keep it real, we're a capitalist society. They bought the
hmm
land, it's their apartments. Can't do much about that. You can move, but as we know, that's easier said than done in a lot of situations. Um, so my wife said, "What about co-ops?" I was like, I forgot about co-ops. So I started looking up. I was like, okay, so what's a co-op? Basically, it's people come together, like me, you, Pastor, and Sam come together. We buy an apartment, and each of us is basically just sharing the cost of living in a space. That's the basics of it. Well, what happened? You have to form a company though. Like, we form a company, we all have certain positions, because we have to make it a legal entity. But the goal is just for us to live together in one apartment complex or even housing development and share the cost. That's all you're doing, sharing the cost. Um, and I was like, that's a good idea. And what happens, like, say, Mark, you like, boom, I don't want to live here anymore. I want to move. I'm doing this, whatever. You can sell your share back to us, and then someone else comes in, and then they begin to pay what you were paying, things like that. So I was like, okay, that's a genuine idea. And I know, like, the co-ops that my aunt used to live in, um, they had a board, so they had to approve who moved into the co-ops, you know. So there were like a lot of restrictions and things of that nature. So I want to have this conversation. Do you think that's an idea that can really work? Can we make something like that work? In a lot of situations where, that there's all these tenants, they want to move or they want more control of their apartments, and be able to share the cost. Do you think we can, as a people, be responsible enough to work together to build new co-ops? Because for the most part in New York, people are moving into already established co-ops. So they're just buying somebody else's share. It's already established, they got rules. So they're just moving one person out, next person like, hey, can I move in? Like, this is what you gotta do. This you gotta get. This is the down payment. This is what the rules are already set. It's easier to follow. So And with that idea, do you think it's a possibility for us to build more co-ops, new co-ops?
Well, to
Based on
answer,
who you know? No, you have to call any names.
no,
Like,
it's well, anything is possible.
right.
Like I said,
Indeed.
my pop says that all the time.
Right.
Anything is possible.
Right.
Is it doable?
Right.
Uh, it can be,
Okay.
or it could be.
Right.
But to answer your first question though, as far as ownership goes,
Yeah.
how like do people really care, or can't like how do you change something without without changing ownership? Well, unfortunately, you can't.
Right.
We have
Right.
to own property. You have
Right.
If you really want to make some changes, you got to own some stuff, man.
Right.
And that's the difference between black folks and Jewish folks and white folks and Asian people and stuff like that. These people own their brand.
Right.
You
Gotcha.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're more worried about being rich and making a lot of money versus
Right.
owning something.
Ownership.
But one thing that other races were taught about ownership that we weren't taught is that you got to leave something for your people. You got to leave something
Right.
to your folk. One reason why white folks have generational wealth is because somebody always leaves something behind for the next generation.
Right. Right.
Our people, we don't do that.
Right.
we get to fighting over who gonna get the washer and dryer after Big Mama died.
Right.
You know?
Right. Right.
Right. We get to fighting over that.
Right.
And
Right.
and nobody, like I said, we don't own anything.
Right.
So we look at what we was promised: 40 acres and a mule. No,
Right.
bro, not for us. So
Right.
a co-op has to start with ownership,
Right.
and
Okay.
we don't have enough black people
Oh.
who have the mindset of ownership. We have a
Okay.
mindset of either I want to make a lot of money or survival.
Right.
That's our mindset. Make a bunch of money or I got to figure out how to survive. And it's
Right.
not about ownership, man. Now I do love the fact that black women
Right.
are the fastest demographic to becoming entrepreneurs.
Right.
And I love it. These black women out here starting their businesses, man, and walking off their jobs, and they taking a leap of faith
Right.
towards ownership.
Right.
So, like you said, can it be done, or is it possible? Absolutely.
Right.
But we have to change our mindset, man.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean we could do a co-op, and matter of fact, a co-op, man, that ain't number them Hispanic families, them Latino families been doing that for years.
Right. Right.
Am I lying?
No,
Right,
not at
like
all.
I said, that's what they do. They come together in one house, everybody contributes, and then they take that money and they just recycle it and recycle it and recycle it. And that's why if you go halfway down Jonesboro Road right now in the city, like from Forest Park to the city of Atlanta,
Right.
half of Jonesboro Road is owned by Hispanics.
Right.
And up in Gwinnett and up in Cobb, and you see all these businesses because that ain't nothing but co-ops.
Right.
That's all that is.
Right.
And we can do it, man. We should be able to do it. We can do it, but it all starts with our mindset, man. And
Yes, indeed.
right, and it's gonna take a minute for us to get, to get everybody on the same page, because we're still overcoming a lot of generational stuff. So.
Okay. I got a challenge to that. But let's get Pastor in the building. Good morning, Pastor Brian.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
How you
Pastor.
doing, brother? Good to see you, man.
Good morning. Good to see you too, Pastor.
Yeah, so of course the conversation today is buying back the block, part 1, because of course there's a part 2 to motto, creating a cooperative housing, and so we're discussing the possibilities, of course, which is always true. All things are possible. Can it be done? And what's the mindset to really make it happen? Sam said, we also spend it all. We spend all we have,
right?
Kind of living paycheck to paycheck, I think sometimes, and this is never a blanket of all, because all people don't think the same thing, but some think that accumulation of things shows wealth. Some people want to have certain things to feel wealthy. And I get it because you get in those kind of spaces. But can we have the mindset of cooperatively working together just to cut the cost of living? Because one thing, the overreaching, or the main thing that I've learned from going through a couple of YouTubes and reading some blogs about cooperatives are, this is not a financial building block as far as earning money. And it's like an investment you're getting into to get money out of. It's more or less me, you, and Pastor come together to live. We don't have to pay as much for living costs. We split, you split housing, you split taxes, you split everything. I think probably the only thing we probably pay separate is like gas, electric, the stuff that they can connect directly to each apartment or complex or housing, however we would manage it or put it together. I think I truly feel like when I started really digging into it, I'm like, this is a great idea. This is something that I feel will, one, you have ownership. Like you not only take ownership of where you live, you take ownership of right outside your house. You take ownership of what's going on around your house, because if you're paying taxes, I don't need my taxes going up. I want the value of what we cooperatively own to go up, because then there is a chance of financial, I won't say windfall, but a financial growth where, me, you, and Pastor get into something. We buy the apartment for $500,000. If we bought that in the 90s, by now it'd probably be well over $1 million. The value of each, and then broken down. When I leave, I get more back than what I put in, from initial costs and things of that nature. So I think if playing a long game, working cooperatively together, I think something like this could work. Good morning, Keita. Good morning. So, Pastor, how do you feel? Do you feel like, based on who you know, like I told Mark, you ain't got to call any names, based on if you were to come together, do you think you can build or work with others to build a co-op, like talking about move from where you're at, if you're trying to cut costs and try to move into one place and cooperative work together to share the cost of living? And do you think that's a possibility, something that should be more widespread, or do you feel like self-ownership is more of a way to go?
I'm not living with anybody.
Well, you're not really living with them. You're not really. You have an apartment. Like, instead of me being so far away, you just the apartment. You got your 5-bedroom there, and I can just. Let's do this broadcast together.
I'm not living with nobody. I love it.
I'm not living with nobody. That's that's just, I was in the military.
Right.
I shared space.
Right.
I'm not living with nobody. I like being able to. I mean, look, I don't think there is a building large enough. We'll have to figure out another way to invest together.
Gotta figure another way. That ain't it.
No, I mean, just but again, it's relative to my own experience.
No, I know, and I listen. I just wanted your opinion on it too.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know people that do it culturally. Right. They do it and they make it work.
Right.
But culturally, I've had people, I've and don't misunderstand. I know that you're talking about having enough space where, if I don't want to see you, I don't have to see you.
Right.
But my thing is, if the space has to be wide enough where I don't want to see you, if I don't have to see you, right? I want to live with people that I don't mind seeing.
Right.
Regardless of my mood.
Right.
Because when it's my family, I may not want to see you for an hour.
Right.
But I don't want to go the whole day and not see you in the same facility. So
true.
For me, culturally, it's just I've lived with people. I've had people live with me. I've been in places where you shared space.
Right.
Man, I didn't even like living in an apartment building when I was young.
I got you. I got you.
I don't want to see you like that.
Every day.
Yeah, but again, that's Brian.
Right. No doubt.
Let's find another way to invest.
That's a
Right.
lot of people. That's a lot of
Yeah.
people.
And see that and that's what I was thinking about as well. How we've grown up. So I know we always bring up like the Hispanics and if I think that's still a proper word, Hispanics. Is that a good word? Can we still use that?
Yeah, you good. You good.
and and how they've grown. But I always think about like if it's something that I'm used to living, like if wherever they were, whichever country they came from, they live like that, you can kind of, in America, it works even better. For us, we've not really lived like that. There's not too many of us that have had to live cramped in a space, for a long period of time. Like some can be like, yeah, I lived like this for 3 years, like I had to endure this for 5 years, but then I had space, I may not have had a huge house, but I had space, like for some having your own room is like, you had your own room? Like, or, like I'm sure like in probably countries, you don't have a room with another couple? And in our minds, like, sleep in the same room with another couple, like I can't imagine that, like
right.
And like I said, there's probably culture that just that's what we do. We live all in the same house. We become one big family. Like, oh, somebody might not make it. Like something's gonna happen. Somebody going to jail. It's gonna be up some months, but it's gonna get ugly after a while. But yeah, so I think culturally, as African American, Black Americans, our mindset is just different. We've adapted to the space idea. But when it comes to the cooperative of apartments, I think at least it's separate housing altogether. I mean, I get what you're saying, pastors. There's some folk in your life that I don't really want to see every day or live so close. Yes, and that's it right there. They're willing to sacrifice for the greater good. For them, the end justifies the means. Indeed.
Right.
Indeed.
I mean, if it's about survival,
right.
we do what we have to do.
Yeah.
If I have a choice,
yes, no,
the
answer is no. Okay, but what if? So I'm throwing some stuff out there. So you live in a HOA space, right? Would you be willing to buy land cooperatively, have your house, and I'm not across the hall, I'm just across the street?
You mean like a subdivision?
Right. Like we start kind of like our own subdivision.
I would love nothing more than to buy up a piece of land and build a community for family and friends.
Right.
That's just money.
Right.
Right. But you're talking about
go ahead.
Investment. It's one thing for me to hit it big and then make a place for my friends and family.
Right.
It's another thing for us to collectively come together and invest in a plot of land and begin to build on it.
Right.
Right. Because what you're saying is, by the time you're finished, I would have invested as much as I would have invested if I went out and bought my own plot and built a house, because the collective investment means I got to buy a plot, you got to buy a plot, and we buy enough plots individually that we all live in the same zip code.
Right.
But individually, the investment is the same. And so my question then is, where's the benefit?
Right. So let's
That's
just say
the only benefit you have there is we call it ours.
In essence, but think about, like, say collectively we find, I won't say uninhabited, but like that needs to be built from the ground up. And what I mean by that, it's like, there's nothing there yet. You pass those complex, what every housing development looks like before, like before they put anything, So we invest in the land, let's just say we go out far enough before Georgia or the businesses get out there, before the Costco's, and so the value is like, because you got to drive a good ways before you get to a business. So we buy it on the cheap, we work it together, and we build a space that is cost effective because the cost of the land is cheaper. And whatever, let's just say fictitiously, we're in a town where taxes are super low because of the town, because like I said, it has nothing. So taxes are super low. Oh, it's probably so big, there's probably one red light. And we buy that space collectively, and then we build our houses there, and we share in the taxes. We share because we all own the land together. You understand what I'm saying? So that, and then the idea is not really that land and that space to be an investment, but to allow us to keep more in our pocket so that we can invest in other things. How does that sound?
I mean, it sounds great. I just, I'm, for me, if I'm going to legitimately strategize
Right.
for an investment opportunity, initially, my targeted space would not be co-living.
Right.
That's just me. I don't,
get it.
like, that's just not like the makeup of Brian. That's just not
Right.
where I am. Right.
I get it.
But again, in 1991, I was living in a shelter.
Right.
I was displaced. I was homeless.
Right.
So I don't have a whole lot of motivation. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
right.
I have loved nothing more than, there's nothing better than being able to go from that to being able to acquire property and create a living space for your family, having been homeless. Right.
Yeah.
So my life is dedicated to making sure my family has private space, because I've had to share space when I didn't want to.
Right.
So I have a different perspective. Right. So I ain't trying to live with nobody.
Right.
And across the street still might be too close.
All right, Mark. How do you feel about that though? Are you too closed in, or can you have your own apartment and have us living right across the hall? And it help save on what you would normally pay for apartment, mortgage, and all of that good stuff. You're kind of collectively building something and having ownership.
Well, I don't require much.
Okay.
As far as like living space and everything like that. I mean, I'm a bachelor. I ain't got no kids.
Right.
Nothing like that. So it doesn't take much for me, man. Like I can look like I live in a house.
Right.
But if I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment, I'd still be good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know how to use. Because I've never required a lot of space. But on the flip side of that, I can't understand what Pastor is saying. It's like even in an apartment, you may have your own unit, but you're still sharing an edifice with somebody and everything. So I get that. Like I said, personally, I could do it.
Right.
But on the flip side, if I can be a little more isolated, I mean, if it's possible. Now, I'm gonna be a good tenant. I'm gonna be a good tenant. I'm gonna be a good neighbor. I ain't gonna play my music too loud and everything. I'm gonna be in my apartment.
Right.
But if I got a choice,
man,
put me somewhere off the bus line, big homie.
Right.
I'm telling you, I got a friend of mine. When he got married, him and his wife stayed in the apartment for like the first 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And it was like, it was their first little spot, but with family and friends, and then with neighbors, everybody coming in and out and stuff like that, and having people come to crash on their sofa and everything. The first thing he said, I told my wife, when we buy us a house, it will be off the bus line, homie.
You will not little more challenging to get to.
Exactly. You will not. We're gonna be like the folks in Cobb County when it came to getting martyred out there, and the white folks said, "No, sir."
Wow.
You will not have it. These Negroes will not have access to our neighborhood.
Right.
Wow.
So I feel passed on that one though, man. Like if I can be like it's because it's something very liberating about having your own land, and I
Right.
think that's what it is.
Right.
Land ownership
Right.
is everything, man. That
Yeah.
you know that's equity.
Right.
Like you can have your own apartment, you can have a nice car, whatever, but when you got some land, oh
Right.
man, you can't beat that.
Right. So Sarah made a comment that I was thinking. She said, "But isn't that part of the issue with our community? Everybody have to have their own, all about me and mines. Me and mines."
Can I tell you something? No, I was listening to this comedian named Alonzo Bowden, and he was making a joke about being broke. And,
Okay.
but now he's he's a popular comedian. He's making good money
Right.
and stuff like that. And so he said, I remember the first time I got a check for $250,000.
Wow.
And he said, man, I took that money, and he said people talking about save your money, save your money. He was like, forget that. He said, I've been broke a long time, so guess what I'm doing? I'm buying stuff. And he's like, I'm buying everything I can. And you know what I thought about? Said, I think that's the mentality of most black folks collectively.
Right.
Like you say, when we get some money, we got to spend it, because a lot of us ain't never had nothing. You know, if you've been rich all your life, or if you've been well off all your life,
right,
you don't trip that much about going out and buying stuff.
Right.
So and and it just made me take another look at our financial situation as as a people collectively.
Right.
So.
I hear you. I think go ahead. No, go ahead.
To Sam's point, I don't think there's anything wrong with having your own.
Right.
Because like we launched ministry. We launched a place where we can come together collectively,
right,
and be with one mind and try to expand, invest. You know what I mean? Right. Because that's the same mentality. It's the same concept, right? But when I come home, I want to come home to my space, right? I think it's like having your own space is not an American dream, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a human dream.
Right.
I got you.
You understand?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't like to me, and I'm not saying that that's her point, because she has a valid point that in a lot of cases we always want to do stuff independent of everybody else, and we wonder why we always struggle, because we struggle to come together.
Right.
It's not so much I want to have my own, it's just I don't know how to work with my brothers and my sisters.
Right.
So I'm left to my own.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, if we had more people, like when we come together, I mean, I can speak even from the church perspective. Right. There's a place where we can come together and pray, but we come together and disagree.
Right. True.
Right. We can't even find commonality in Christ.
Right.
Seriously. We all want to serve the same God, but sit up here and be mad at each other trying to serve the same God. Right. And then you want to talk about trying to move in with somebody? Man, we'll be catching cases all over the place.
Come on now, we got an apartment complex.
That's why domestic violence is the number one most dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Domestic living together.
Yeah, domestic.
Right. The church at the bottom, and we all live at the top. No, then we come down service. We go back up.
Right. At that point, I'm gonna get tired of you.
There's not enough oil, man. Not enough oil.
At that point, I gotta go to church. I ain't live with you. Yeah. In between church and the house, I'm gonna be cussing. Like, hey, listen. There you go.
All right, let's go and take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right. Hold tight. Bam, and we're back. All right. So we've talked about how we're trying to get over living together. Together but separate. So how do you, okay, so let me ask you this. Would you be willing to help somebody start a co-op or invest into a co-op? Because like I said, for the most part, most of the examples were, the people that are going to live there, they do all the work. And what I mean by that, they get the credit, they get the money, they form the corporation, and they build for themselves. Would you be willing to somehow invest into a co-op? Would you be willing, like, some folks came together, they're like, boom, this is our paperwork, this is our credit scores. We just need one more person to kind of come in, and you'll get a small percentage, not life moving percentage, maybe go to Ruth Chris a couple of times a month kind of percentage. To assist in helping with the co-op.
So are you talking about just living space? Is that the only?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're only focused on living space.
Not business. That's tomorrow. I got a whole conversation about that and got some issues. So, but I'm just talking about housing today. We're talking about housing.
Yeah, but I'm saying I invest in real estate now.
Right. But it's different. It's different because, you take on, like, you're taking all the risk, like, as far as tenants, because I'm talking about renting space. You're taking on the risk by getting a tenant in, and you're making money based on the rent, and of course, prayerfully that nothing breaks down, nothing falls apart, but if it does, that falls back on you. You understand what I'm saying? But with this, it's collective. So if something does break down, it's not all on you. It's the shared response. There's more shared responsibility. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I know
I do. You're saying, me and someone else go buy a property,
right?
And we share the responsibility.
In essence,
right?
And I'm throwing this out there because, in essence, you're not gonna make a bunch of money. You'll get the money you put in back, and maybe generations they'll get trickles.
Yeah, it's passive. It's passive or residual income.
Pretty much. I mean, still there's going to be issues at the department that they're going to, that collectively will take from the account that whatever we got stored up to pay for things and things like that. But yeah, it's small. So, and that's why I'm throwing it out there. It is an investment, but it's more. Kaneem, I need you in this conversation too. It's more of a help than an investment. You know what I'm saying? It's more, you're gonna get your money back. It's more like, hey, Pastor, I need 100,000, and give me some time. I'll square you away.
Just like you would go to any bank. It's a measurement of risk. It's a measurement of risk and return.
Right.
How great is the risk? Am I comfortable with the rate of return? The ROI.
Right.
Right.
I think that's Mark.
Oh,
yeah,
I was like, that's unfamiliar.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's me. I'm driving. I'm back up, and I was backing up. But go ahead.
But yeah, so I mean, but would you be like, if the reward is not huge, like we might say, hey, we'll bump up your percentage back to get that money, private funding at an agreed interest rate.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's just a bank.
Well, no, even less than, because banks trying to make some money.
No, I'm saying the mentality of that is, I'll give bank. You this,
right,
and over time you'll give me something in return.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like it's almost like a charitable loan. Like you're gonna get your money back, but it's gonna be over time, and you're more or less helping housing to grow, housing that is more cooperative, and your investment is protected because everybody that lives there has skin in the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just, it's better than a renter because, I'm just paying rent and, hey, the boiler's out. Hey, the roof just caved in. I need you to go ahead and take care of that while I go wherever. So it's more like skin in the game where, oh man, the boiler's out, coming together to collectively fix, this.
Yeah, I think so. So it all depends on who's asking.
Okay.
Right.
Indeed.
Because you go to the bank, they're gonna check your credit.
Right.
If you come to me, I'm checking your credit. I'm checking your integrity. Who are you to me?
Right.
How much confidence do I have in your business plan?
Right.
How much of a risk is it for me? Am I willing to take that risk? It's all, there's so many factors that come into play. I got to pray. There's so many factors that come into play with something like that. And for me, like I talk about this with family.
Right.
We have plans with things like this with family.
Right.
And I think that I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's still a measurement of risk and return.
Indeed.
Risk versus return. That there's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping it real. I mean, you come to me and say, Pastor, I got an opportunity here,
right.
And I'm like, okay, well, then you talking to Brian.
Schedule a meeting with Brian, right? Schedule a meeting with Brian, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, because even Abraham and Lot, he was like, you go over there and I'm gonna go over here.
Right. Yeah.
You pick whatever you want, and you take and you go over there.
Right.
And whatever's left,
I'm going.
That's where I'll go.
Right.
He didn't say nothing about we're gonna share, intermingle. Every time they intermingled, they had problems.
Right.
There's always problems.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think there's anything wrong with having your own.
Indeed. Okay.
Right. Now, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with co-op.
Right.
If it's equally balanced.
Yeah. Indeed.
But you got to remember that if you are 75% in,
right,
and I'm 25% in,
right,
at some point, my 25% is going to feel smaller.
Right.
So at what point do you cut the ties? Or, what if I say, well, no, I don't want 25% anymore. I want 50.
Right.
And you said, no, I don't want you to have 50. I like 75. I asked you for 25%. So you're going to stay where you are, all of that, because that's what we've seen. That's historically what happens. Right. I come in at 10%, then all of a sudden I come up and I want more than 10%, but you want to keep your 90.
Of course.
So you buy me out so that we don't fall out.
Right.
So all of those things have to be worked through. The expectations in any covenant agreement. We talk about this in the scripture.
Yeah.
You're going into covenant, financial covenant with somebody. There's an expectation. What do I get? What do you get? Yeah. What am I putting in? What are you putting in? Can we live there?
Right. Yeah.
And if we can live there, how long can we live there?
Right.
What's the term?
That's true. That's true.
Because people are doing that right now today. You have the short-term loans and all that stuff. Listen, I give you $150,000, for 90 days.
Right.
You bring it back, you bringing back $175,000.
Right. Indeed.
Hard money loans, and people are doing hard money loans all the time.
I get you.
With strangers.
Indeed. And a lot of this to me is just the, I get, when I have large sums of money and I'm giving to somebody, I wanted to increase. Like, granted, you give money sometimes like, yeah, I'm gonna pay you back. You want that payback, but there's a investment side of a lot of giving sometimes, when it increases or to the 100,000, or you're going to use it for this or that or the third. I just was throwing it out there because, as far as what is your level, how much are you willing to help grow your community? And that's a hard question, as well as, not really like a simple answer, like I think about the core.
It's not hard. It's really not a hard question.
Right.
It's not a hard question. Sometimes it's difficult to answer.
Yeah.
But the question is simple.
Yeah.
And
yeah, indeed.
And the reality is, for me, I'm not even like I work to try to improve my community here where I live.
Right.
By getting along with my neighbors and whatever, making myself available.
Right.
I even, and this is not like we're talking about what we do and how we approach things.
Right.
Why do you launch ministry? Because you want to improve the makeup of the people around you. You want to have an impact on community. You want to get more people in the kingdom. You want to save souls for the Lord. But in addition to that, you want to empower communities.
Right.
You understand? And I'm forever trying to encourage people to buy in to that.
Right.
But it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not famous.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Right? And so the challenges and the struggles with even people who are with you, who are connected to you.
Right.
To keep them engaged.
Right.
In an effort to improve community.
Right.
It's a daily grind. It's a daily struggle. Why? Because when you have vision is a lonely path.
Yeah.
So in a lot of cases, and most people, what they do is they try to come up because they don't want to have to deal with the struggles of having someone buy into their vision.
Right. Try to do it themselves.
Look, you listen to encouragement speakers today. You listen to preachers today. What do they say? I got to do it by myself. Yeah. Right. If you ain't buying into the program, cut them off. Yeah. I mean, people are preaching that.
Yeah.
They're preaching that.
Right. Indeed.
Right. And I'm trying to figure out where is God in that.
Right.
You understand? I mean, there's a process to cutting people off. And so when you talk about co-op, you talk about, community planning, community empowerment, how do we improve it? What is the first thing people do? Who are you to be, Right. But you go in, like for me, I go anyway. Right. I'm going to deal with the rejection again for me because it's spiritual. Because if Jesus was rejected, who am I to not have to contend with rejection? Right. So I've overcome those things, but to have the conversation, there's been many opportunities where I've said, hey, listen, I got 25 grand. Right. Can you bring 25 grand to the table? People like, no. Right. Tell me more. Right. It's simple. Right. 2 + 2 is 4. In this case, 2 + 2 could equal 5. Right. You understand? Right. But I need my 2 and your 2 so we can go get that extra 1. Right. You understand? Indeed. And people, it's tough to get people to give up to cough up that 2. Right. And the reason why, and in a lot of cases, if I'm sitting on, if I'm the CEO of Facebook and I come and I ask you for 2, I got a track record with Facebook. Right. I'm all in. But if I don't have Facebook behind me, you're going to be questioning me at every turn. Right. You understand? Yeah, indeed. So the plan has to be so robust, so concrete, that people are willing to make the risk. Right. Yeah. Indeed. Even when it comes to community. Right. That's good. Right. You know as well as I do. Man, we can't even give stuff away in the community we try to impact. Right. We try to give it away for free and they won't even come get it. Right. Yeah. Indeed. Yeah. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm saying no. We have.
I think it's the so let's drill down to that. It's like digging into the trust. Your trust factor when it comes to your community, the trust factor, in investing in not only your money but your time. What are you willing to invest? And what are you getting out of it? And I get some. They get to the point where they're so pessimistic. It's like, man, these folks don't want nothing. Right. These folks don't appreciate nothing. And it's these folks, everybody, And there's folks that are just like, yo, I've been out here with this garden. I know it ain't growing much, but I'm doing my little part as much as I can with what I got,
Chinese, look, I'm gonna live with the Chinese bamboo tree mentality for the rest of my days. I'm going to keep watering, keep, I'm gonna stay on it, keep trying to nurture it, because I'm over the negativity. I grew past that. Yeah, I'm of the mindset that if it ain't but 2 of us, we're gonna do it. Definitely. We're gonna work to make a change, to affect change, and at some point, someone is gonna buy into this, and we're going to grow.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
So to your point, I'd love nothing more. My desire is to be able to do what you're talking about.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
But all I'm saying is I don't have to live there.
Yeah. Like most landlords anyway.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They don't live at their properties.
No.
Right.
So
No, not at
I
all.
think anything my father says all the time that anything with two heads is a monster.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so when you think about a co-op, that's a bunch of people in charge. And like you said, I think the lines can sometimes get blurred. Like I said, you got 75, I got 25. Well, like I said, one day I may wake up with a change of heart, and I'd be like, hey,
Oh,
I want my 25 to increase and
right.
so forth and so on. So even if you do have an idea that even resembles a co-op,
Right.
I think it needs to be established. Okay, who's in charge? And I think like that's why I favor single ownership versus a co-op. Like
I
you
feel
can
you.
and I would rather invest, what I'm saying, in something like that, because even if you look, I mean, even if you look at it, if you got a bunch of people in charge,
Right.
then who's really in charge? For years, we thought that the guy who started Papa John's, right?
Mm-hmm.
We thought he was in charge. We seen
Right.
him on the commercials.
Right.
He told his story about how he started from
Right.
nothing. And so when you see this guy, you see this almighty CEO
Uh-huh.
of this major corporation.
Right.
Well, it only took one bad racial slur,
And he was out. Right.
and guess what?
Right.
A bunch of people in the co-op or who invested was
Right.
like, "Hey, you're out of here."
You're at it,
Well,
right?
wait a
You
minute,
ruining
bro.
the brand.
I started the company. Like it's got my
Right.
name on it. I named it after my granddaddy. Well,
Right.
yeah, I granddaddy now. So it's like, well, who's in? If the top guy,
Yeah.
the guy who's like, if he can get tossed out,
Right.
then who am I? So
Right.
I think that's the gray area when you're talking about a co-op. Like
Right.
I want to know who's in charge.
Yeah.
Moving forward. What's the vision
Yeah.
of this co-op? And if we got 18 different visions, then oh Lord, that's gonna be a monster right there.
Richard said, cooperatives, not my favorite model, not for consortiums.
Consortiums.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Can work and be wisely and well construction. So, I mean, so like I said, with the co-ops, they form a corporation and each person takes a role. I mean, granted, that still don't stop me from waking up with my 25 and wanting another 25, because I felt like,
Right.
remember that water heater? I did the water heater. Remember all that
Right.
ground I done mowed and I done painted, I done did the work.
Right.
I done covered my extra 25, So I do agree. I do hear you on that point. I think, like I said, it sets up as a corporation. So there are offices that have been agreed upon. And, it's easy to agree when money's not flowing yet. It's easy to,
Right.
yeah, you going to be CEO.
Right, exactly.
You going to be vice president,
Mhm.
So it's easier, in the beginning. I mean, I truly believe it can work. I believe there are ways to make it work. Yeah, yes, it takes having the we mindset instead of the me mindset to really solidify it. And Pastor, you said something that really stuck, that overcoming the trust, like or having the trust in your community or whoever you're dealing with, that trust factor, because once things like that gets eroded, it's hard to maintain a partnership. It's hard to maintain
We know someone that's doing it.
collaboration.
We know someone that's doing it. We know someone who, their family, some are in-laws,
Right.
they sold their houses.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And decided to go move to one place and build on to that place.
Yeah.
And give everybody their separate space.
Yeah. I've seen the plantation too.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
and property taxes didn't change.
Right.
But they made a bigger place.
Yeah.
so that everyone could have space,
Yep.
you know, so they wouldn't be on top of each other. And so
Yeah.
they're doing that now. So it's kind of to your point. But again, you think about that group of individuals.
Yeah.
They've been tight for years.
Yeah.
They've been living on top of each other, spending the night, hanging out, and all of that. So you know, they were trying to figure out, why am I still paying this mortgage when we always together anyway?
Right.
That's what that was, and that's my point. Like that trust factor, that closeness, that mindset. You know, so yeah, it absolutely can work, and I'm saying that I can be a part of it. What I'm saying is, and again, my personal feeling.
I'm not living there. I ain't living there.
I don't have to live there for it to work.
I get you. I think that's probably the most challenging. Like, you know, like tomorrow we're going to talk about business. You know, it's easier to invest in the business, even if you're assisting or helping, because the time together is purposeful and limited. Whereas housing is all the time. Housing is, you know, when my mask is off, I gotta see you, you know. So I mean, I get it. Housing is more challenging than like I said, business, because we could work together. Like there's people that you probably don't care for, but you know their work ethic. It's like I work with them all the time. They get the job done
because we living in the black. We living in the black.
Right. But when you clock out, I don't want to see you. Like, I ain't hanging out with you. You know, like me and you, we like this. But when we're working,
Hey, Anthony,
I'm trying to figure out. Mark has that. He got that big, thick black beard.
Yes.
And I got this big, thick white beard. I'm trying to be like Mark. I need Benjamin Button conditions.
Oh, listen, man. You can find it at any store. Beijing, black, brown.
Look, I'm afraid I'll be out somewhere and it starts raining real hard.
They make a waterproof formula, Pastor. They make a waterproof formula. It lasts at least a week.
Nice.
Listen, gentlemen, I'm sorry, man. I hate to have to do this, but I'm getting ready to go inside of a building.
Yes, indeed.
To take care of a personal matter.
Yes,
and so I'm gonna have to log off, but I would definitely see you again real soon, my friend. I appreciate the invitation. Always good to see you and have commentary with you, Pastor.
Yes, sir.
Always
absolutely.
Good.
My pleasure.
All right, Mark, man. I appreciate you.
All right, no problem.
Take care.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping it up. I appreciate you guys rocking with us. Buying Back the Block, Part 1, creating cooperative housing. Tomorrow is Buying Back the Block, Part 2, where we talk about cooperative business. You'll probably dig back into cooperative housing a little bit as well, because I have Ephraim on. He's supposed to be on today, but he has some scheduling conflicts. So we're definitely going to talk about that. I'm digging into, if you don't know, in Atlanta, Pastor Jamal Bryant was kind of spearheading, I'm sure with others. They have started an initiative, the Black Wall Street, where there's businesses. It's where is it at? I just looked at where is that, but I'll have information about that tomorrow. It's funny, it's kind of hard digging into kid information, but they just opened up. They had a grand opening on Saturday. Couldn't make it to that, but I'm definitely gonna go down there and check it out. I saw like one YouTube video. Someone's walking around. So it's open, but in a developing stage, if that makes sense. You know, there's businesses, but they're making it work. You know, it's like anybody, when you have a business, the longer you wait, the more money you lose. So you try to at least have a soft opening. You try to, hey, come on in.
Well, that initiative started before Jamal Bryant was engaged.
Okay. I mean, I know he's been talking.
I think what's happening is they have him engaged, and now everybody's hearing about it.
Yeah, that's smart,
because they've been working on that new Black Wall Street. In fact, my wife was just there a couple of months ago.
Okay,
looking at the spot. So, that's been going on for a while.
I can imagine.
And see, that's my point. See, it's so interesting. You mentioned it, and you lead with Jamal Bryant.
Right, and I made sure
I'm not even his baby.
I know. I made sure he's been talking about it. Like I didn't want to put it out there like I just seen him talking about it.
Right,
like,
but what I'm saying is you didn't hear about it until him, Jamal Bryant, 100%. Because when he started talking, there was more exposure.
Right. Because
that's my point. That's my point.
I get it.
And he probably ain't spent a dime.
Nah, but hey, listen, you talking about spending?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put that out there. I apologize.
But listen,
Jamal, my bad, brother. My bad.
I'm cool with that. Listen, just
my bad.
Just a shout. I was hanging with
I'm saying like that, like that's an example of like I know the people who are on the ground floor.
Right.
I just can't think of their names, but I've seen their faces. I know their names. You know what I mean? I've seen their faces, I've seen their names. And my wife had already went to investigate it some months ago. Right. And his name was nowhere in it.
Right.
And then you say it here and you say Jamal Bryant. And I'm like, wait, Jamal Bryant, Black Wall Street. Wait.
Right.
It's been in the local paper.
Right. Indeed. But it wasn't, we didn't know. I didn't know until he said something.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And you know what's so funny? I mean,
it was actually last year.
The good is you have someone of notoriety of a larger reach showing a space where good things are happening. The bad is I'm the bigger name, so my name gets attached, to the project, as being a part, and like I said, I mentioned he talked about it, so I was like, I thought he was a part of it. I know he didn't. I figured he didn't create it, but he was a part of it. You understand what I'm saying?
How many days a week do you think Shaquille O'Neal eats Papa John's pizza?
Right. Yes.
Right. Do you really think all of this? You
might eat more than we think.
Cars are insured by the general.
You see.
They might be, but I bet he's got a heck of a plan. Insurance,
Yes, indeed.
I'm just saying, endorsements are endorsements.
Right. But Shaq, he owns now. I don't know about the general. I know what Papa, he owns some restaurants. I know the one in I think it's McDonough. Is it McDonough? Yeah, he owns one. One of the.
He owns
the
more than one.
Yeah. So he does. He had. So I'm sure he eats some of them. He eats sometimes. Look at Shaq. He look like he eats
when the camera's on.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, Terry. As big as I would mention to say, he eat Papa John's every day.
As big as Shaq is, I bet he does not eat Papa John's because of how big he is, not his physical stature, his name, his accomplishment. Shaq does not eat Papa John's.
Shout out to Shaq though, man. He's doing some great things, man. He's doing some really, really, really great things.
Absolutely. That's not negative. It's a validation of what a name can do.
Right. I feel like I was cool with him back in the day as a ball player. I think I'm more of a fan of Shaq now than ever,
Yeah, only people mad at Shaq are his children.
Right.
Because his mentality is, we not rich, I'm rich. That's his philosophy.
Right. Yeah.
You got to go get yours. I'll invest, but you better bring a business plan. Right. He's making them work, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Nobody mad at Shaq but his children.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, not just giving, but that's a whole nother topic.
What's funny? What's funny? Like, I know you're trying to close out. See, Terry Little. What's up, Terry? He says Papa John's is nasty. So you telling me that Shaquille O'Neal, this man of integrity, is putting out a nasty product, right, in our communities? Because Papa John's is in our communities.
It is.
He shows up holding the pizza parties and all of that, and the pizza is nasty. I'm like, I don't like Papa John's pizza. But you're going to tell me Shaq eats Papa John's pizza. That's my point. No one on there is like, there's another. See, it's nasty to you. I don't know who else eats Papa John's.
I like it. I like Papa John's. I don't eat a whole lot, but I like it. I like Papa John's more than any other, the other corporate pizzas.
Yeah, I can eat it.
Yeah, I can eat it. I used to eat it a lot in college. When
it's hard to find nasty, but for me, it's hard to find nasty pizza.
Yeah, and I know so. Yeah, because I'm Little Caesars ain't my favorite. I can eat it. I can eat it. Like I ain't never looked at Little Caesars. Ooh, what Little Caesars? I never like. Ooh. Like If I'm a slight hungry, I could eat some Little Caesar.
Now,
I'm with you on that.
Now go back to your point.
What's
go
that?
back to your point. Not eating it doesn't mean you won't invest in it if you know it makes money.
Right.
I can invest in a co-op, but I may not want to live there.
Yeah, indeed.
Right. My personal desires for living space are different, but it's not that I don't agree.
See, there you go.
With it.
You gonna log off. See, she don't count. She
right. But again, her perspective.
Right. I mean,
right.
Honestly, 100%. Like if we would definitely invest in pizza. Let's get it because it sells.
She ain't eating it, but if it's making money,
right.
She like, I'm not gonna sit at the table. I'm like, I sit at the table. I'm not gonna dive in there with you.
Right.
I'll go this far, but I won't go that far.
Right.
And that's all I'm saying. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Yeah.
You're not a you just don't want to fellowship. Now, people, man, we're bad when we can find anything wrong. Right. That's all right, Samantha. Look, if you want pizza, you're gonna make your own.
Right. Yes, indeed. All right, guys. So we appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Same time, same channel, same place. This is the Brothers of Legacy. We come on every day. I like to say that every day, even though that's not really true. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. till we get tired of talking. So we look forward to seeing you same time, same channel. Know that we're having topics and conversations that are helping to move the community forward. We're introducing ideas that will hopefully spark you to do something great. And if it does, give me a shout out. Let me know what's going on, what you're doing, and however we can help or I can help. The Brothers is here for you. All right. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Part 2 of Buying Back the Block, talking about creating cooperative businesses. And talking about the Black Wall Street and that initiative going on. All right. So as always, stay safe, be blessed. Know that we love you, but God loves you more. And we look forward to seeing you in same time, same channel tomorrow. Wait, one more thing. Text LWN to 84576 and never miss a broadcast. Text LWN to 84576. That's it. That's all. We out. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for rocking, hanging, being. Make sure to share. Sharing is caring. All of my replay peoples that watch in the back.